Hello, everyone. I am Art Chat Daddy Sims, and welcome to another edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, the Love Edition. So glad to be back with you guys. It's been a while since I've done anything due to the encouragement of so many wonderful people, circumstances, and situations. I am back now doing relationship things, and that's how I started over 30 years ago. In my home, I invited 11 people over for an amazing conversation about relationships. What did you want from life? What did you get from life? Just all of that kind of stuff. And I even told people to take their sexual preference out of the picture and take out any financial situations. Okay, so be open to love and not think of it in the realm of money. Well, here we are 30 years later, and one of my dear participants, one of the people who kept the fires burning, going. When the fire would get real slow at the chat, he would get up and throw a can of gasoline into the conversation, cause all kind of havoc, and there we were for another 2 hours debating a topic that people were very slow to respond to. But then Khalid, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my good buddy. Not only is he a dear friend of mine, he's a brother, he's a mentor, he is someone that so many people look up to, published author, mental health expert extraordinaire, my good friend Khalid Scott. Hello, brother, how are you?
What's going on, big brother? How are you today?
I'm wonderful. I'm good. I'm so excited that you and I are going to sit down and just have an amazing conversation to help people navigate their ways through this really, this is a very interesting time for people in dating. And so, Khalid, before we even get into our topics this evening, I want to go back to the relationship chats if we could, because really, from the bottom of my heart, I can barely even say it. I just want to thank you, brother, because you helped me back then to make these conversations come alive.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And, I remember you had them right across the street from where I lived. I lived in Lake Meadows, and they were right across the street at the coffee house. What was the name of that coffee house?
It was Jazz and Java.
That's it. Absolutely.
Jazz and Java. Yes, Jazz and Java.
Jazz
Yes.
and Java. So those Sunday nights was just phenomenal. And I truly look forward to them because the ambiance, right? Black men and women coming together, talking about this prolific topic of relationships. This had never been done before. And I remember before my friend June brought me to your first chat, I was hearing things about it. And they was like, man, you want to go for a good time? You got to go and see this dude named Art. He has black people talking about relationships, and it's on and popping. And then the first night I went, I absolutely fell in love with the venue and the forum and the discussions because, my goodness, we're talking about something that's affecting us, right? And I was a young social worker at the time. So I'm sitting back, not only participating, Art, but also paying attention and observing. You know what I'm saying? And then,
Right.
and who would have known, I met my future wife at the chats, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Natalia became the first baby of the chats.
Correct, correct. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I am very proud and happy of all of the successes I've had. There were 12 of you all that
Wow,
met and got married at the relationship chats, or
wow,
as a
that's
part of the coming to the discussion, meeting each other. We have somebody who's very famous now who just recently won an election. She met her husband at a relationship chat. So, I mean, I appreciate that. I really do. But now, Khalid, here we are 30 years later.
yes, yes. Still talking about relationships, and it doesn't even feel like it's any been any changes, right? The things we talked about 30 plus years ago are what we're still talking about, minus or addition to people being married, getting divorced, children, legacies, and everything under the sun. You know, let me ask you, Art, what got you interested in discussing relationships? I've always wanted to ask you that and never thought to ask you that.
Well, now, Khalid, that is so funny that you would ask me. So, most people, I guess a lot of people will realize this. I am very, very good friends with a lot of females. I am friends with more females than I am male. I do have a lot of good male friends. I have friends that run the gamut. I have friends that run every race, creed, color, you name it. I have friends, I have good straight male friends. I
Right.
have good gay male friends. So, I mean, I've been the person that knows a lot of people. Again, those 11 people in my living room were from all different walks of life. They were black, white, gay, straight. And again, I told everybody to please take their preference out of the dating situation and take a financial burden or requirement out of the situation. And let's see if we could really talk about what the problem really is with relationships. Because what a lot of people don't understand is back then, I said, as a black gay man, I have the same problems with dating as any of my female counterparts. Oh no, can't no black gay man have the same problems as a female. Oh no, that's some BS. You out here trying to take our man, whatever, whatever, whatever. No, no, because what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. And so no, I'm not. And here's the deal. If your man did want to swing that way and took that move, baby, that was where you knowing this wasn't for you anyway.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's why I started it. No, I'm a black gay man from the south side of Chicago, born and raised, have made a name for myself, but I knew that people needed to talk about relationships. And so that's why my friendship with you, how much you've helped me, all of that, Khalid, has just been amazing because you and I really did meet as strangers, and here we are this moment in time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the topic of relationships, and Art, you created subcultures in the city. So there were copycat forums. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the topic is so salacious. The topic is so interesting. The topic is so timely, and we never have enough of it. You know,
No, no, right.
and
Yes,
I've also learned of that it's something about people of color in relationships because that's what's gotten us through for centuries. Our camaraderie, building a village. We are relationship based people. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't we want to address the topics? And again, think about how society is with relationships. It tells women you're not anything if you're not in a relationship. It tells us men you can have multiple relationships. You know what I'm saying? And all of those criterias have gotten us in trouble now. And I think that's what we need to discuss today.
Khalid, I am so glad you brought that up because recently I was having a conversation with some people over dinner. And
Nice.
I said to them, now I love what you said about we as a people like to come together. But see, I think we as a people don't know how to have great relationships. I think we might be good at everything else. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not shaming my people. I'm not doing any of that because I pay attention to all races and how they love. And I'm gonna tell you why. I had a college roommate briefly that was a white guy, right? The white guy, he got married at a young age, had children at a young age, did the career thing. By the time he got to be 40 years old, he came out of the closet, lives with his male husband, and the entire family vacation together. The ex-wife is not even upset. They all one big kumbaya. Tell me what black family you know that could pull that off.
Not too many of us. Absolutely. Not too many. And again, we got to go back to our basics because we don't forget art. We forgot that when we meet a stranger on the street, make that stranger a brother, make that stranger a sister, and the power of networking. You know what I'm saying? That has benefited. I remember when my daughter was applying for medical schools and we wasn't getting the acceptance letters. Art, I literally made phone calls to fraternity and sorority people, and next thing I know, my daughter had interviews. So there's a power in our commingling and getting together. And again, reinforcing the village mentality, you know? So now,
Okay.
yeah,
Khalid, I'm not going to fight and argue with you on that one at all because I do agree, but I'm going to say this.
go ahead.
Recently, you did a post that stated you knew so many couples that were in divorce right now. Listen, for me to not even, I don't even want to paraphrase what you said. Tell the audience what you said, and then let's unravel all of that.
Right. So, our since the pandemic, I've done back to back to back podcasts. And of course, the two major subject matters that I've discussed are relationships, especially with people of color, and mental health issues, right? And it's funny how they go hand in hand, right? And what happened is, since I'm a clinician and a social worker, like a mechanic, like a doctor, when folks are going through stuff, I get the phone calls, right? Over the last 4.5 years, 45 people that I know personally, right, have called me to say, Khalid, I'm getting a divorce. Khalid, I'm in a divorce process. Khalid, I just finalized my divorce. And I'm like keeping tally of this because each time I do a podcast, I talk about it. Well, as of 2 weeks ago, the number got to 45. So I posted the article about Candy and Todd Tucker. And I'm like, what's going on with Black love? What's going on with why can't we stay committed? And especially at our big old ages of 50s and 60s, right? And then I was researching, and it's called gray divorce. Gray
Okay.
divorces are when you divorce in your middle ages.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting. I do know quite a few people who have divorced. I know quite a few people who are going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And then I know quite a few people that somehow their mates just disappeared off of. Wait, did I lose? Okay, let me recap that. So I know people that are going through divorces. I
Mhm.
know people that are filing for divorce, and then I know people who their partners or mates have just disappeared off of social media. Period. And I was like, wait a minute, did I miss a funeral? Did I miss something? Because these are people that tell you their business all the time and had mates in pictures. So
Right.
that's why I was like, wait a minute. So Khalid, why do you think that the gray divorce phenomenon, that's what I'm calling it, is such a thing now?
Okay. So let me take you a little back a few years ago. The pandemics, as you know, started in March of 2020. So maybe 6 months into the pandemic, when I was sitting at home all day, every day, working from home, slowly but surely I was getting phone calls, right? And it
Okay.
would be my friends saying, Khalid, you know what? I'm up in the house with John, or I'm up in the house with Vanessa. And Khalid, I don't like my husband. Khalid, I'm getting tired of my wife. And I'm like, well, what's going on? I don't know, Khalid. I guess we used to have issues, but at least we were managing because we had lives outside the house. You go to work, I go to work. We come home at night, eat dinner, play with the kids, go to bed, and repeat the process. Well, in the pandemic, we were together 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and limited time to go out in the streets, right? So now you have to deal whatever issues you had front and center now. So then, as the pandemic was progressing, I got more and more and more phone calls to the point where I was like, you know what? There's money to be made because now it's motivating me to say, let me go into private practice. Right. So I partnered with my friend, Dr. Jenny Christerna, Jenny, and our practice is booming because the majority of the clients that come into private practice doing the individual and marriage therapies are couples who are struggling, men and women who are struggling. And then the next thing I know, as I said 2 weeks ago, I met 45 people who I know personally are divorcing. And when I've asked them why at 56 after 24 years would you divorce such and such? And they're like, Khalid, and it's been a plethora of answers from Khalid. My youngest kid turned 18 and went away to college. I'm not staying in this loveless marriage anymore. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Khalid, I tried to do the Cosby Show, emulate that. We tried to be Heathcliff and Claire Huxtable, but I should have divorced this person 10 years ago, but I stayed because financial ties, trying to be committed, and, death do us part, and i.e. for the kids. Well, right now, I think what the pandemic did, once we survived it, quote unquote, it taught us you can't take time for granted no more.
No,
That you deserve to be happy in these latter years of your life. And
I
voila,
agree.
let's get divorced and move on
Wow.
and move
Uh,
on.
Unbelievable, but I believe every bit of it. You have a lot of uh titles, degrees, certifications. I'm so proud of you, brother. I don't know what to do. And I always say that Khalid is my brother with all them Lottie and Dotties behind his name. But I am the relationship expert that looks at things for face value.
Yeah,
People have told me some things recently, and the deal is that anybody who ever tells me something, I don't ever want to tell it, but the uniqueness of the dynamics of the stories are stories that people, I'm like, wow, I wonder who else is going through this. People that are telling me they pay all the bills in a house and sleep in a closet in the basement on a cot and don't get any sex, or people that tell me that they get sex once a year for Christmas.
yes,
Child, sex is not a Christmas gift.
yes,
Like, wait a minute now. When did you think? I mean, it is a Christmas gift if you get it on Christmas, but not if you just getting it once a year. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Plus, that's not a gift. That's acts of love. Khalid, you're right. It's a lot of things going on with people that are just unbelievable in this day and age. And I think now more than ever, people need to seek help, because if we look at the recent story of the vice mayor down in southern Florida, and her 40-year-old husband killing her newlywed couple, every picture you see, every video. What do you think about that situation? And let's fast forward to now. Here we are, in 2016.
correct. Well, the thing is, our mental, and I just said a few seconds ago, mental illness and relationships are starting to go hand in hand, right?
Right.
A lot of us get into relationships thinking that our partner is going to fill our voids. I mean, how many women deal with a certain type of guy because they have daddy issues, right? And the same goes for us men with our mama issues, trying to find somebody to fix that deficit in us, right? Which is not what you need to do. You have to fix your own problems. You have to fill in your own gaps. But again, society has told us the normal way to do that is to what? Get with somebody. Most people I know through these divorces already have relationships, and the ink on the divorce decree isn't dry yet.
Okay. Save all that. Save it. Okay. Hold on. We okay. Listen.
Right.
Khalid, I'm trying to do this without having a special drink. Just please hold on to that for a whole nother show. Let's okay. We gonna have a series of things that we need to talk about. So let's get into these gray divorce tips. So the first thing about the gray divorce situation is that you're advising people. Oh, a sign is emotional distance. So let's talk about what that is.
Emotional distance. It means that we're not connected with our emotions. We're not using emotional intelligence to understand and communicate with one another. We're like roommates as compared to being a loving, intimate couple, and we are deficiting because it doesn't feel like the love is there. The obligation is there. The financial connection is there. The love for our children is there. But man to woman, man to man, woman to woman, the connection is gone. You know what I'm saying? I love
Right.
you as a human being, but I'm not in love with you as a person who I'm attracted to.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. I've heard that. I've heard that many times. Just all of that. That if people say, if I wasn't married, if I didn't have this responsibility, if we wasn't in that expensive house and this, that, and another thing. And it's just, a lot. All right. So the second thing you say is you no longer picture your spouse in your future. Now
right,
that's interesting.
correct. You know, it's always been a good thing to have fantasies. I've heard people say, hey, when I lay down and, intimate with somebody, I'm thinking I'm with Halle Berry. I'm thinking I'm with Denzel Washington. So we do that, you know. But the thing is, you start mapping out your life saying, what would my life look like minus my wife? What would my life look like minus my husband? And the pro and con list that we create, right? The pro list is starting to be shorter than the con list, right? And we're saying, wait a minute, I got money saved up. I can go and stay with my mom till I can rent me out an apartment. I can set up, my kid is grown, right? So all the things that would have kept me intact in that home, there's no barriers no more.
None.
Thinking about, oh, I can travel more. I'm gonna start going and work out more. I'm going to change my hair and my appearance. I'm going to get this new life that I didn't know if I was going to ever see because of the pandemic, because we didn't know we was going to live or die. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying?
Correct.
Now,
Correct. Correct.
the living, hey, I want to live a different life. So you got people even going back for college degrees, changing jobs. People are doing a reconfiguration of their life.
Okay. All right. And that makes sense. That makes good sense. I agree. I've been a person who, no matter how good or bad, I believe in flipping the script every now and then. I just believe in doing something different. Khalid, you lost a lot of weight and, you continue to build yourself. I continue to do what I need to do to stay relevant. And so, you do have to do what you need to do. So that's some solid advice that you just gave. That was really good, my friend.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, so let's move on to the next one, growing apart after the children leave home. So I do know of this one. This one has been a big issue lately as well, too.
Right. So, Art, you got someone like me. I grew up in a single parent home, right? When I was 15 years old, this amazing TV show got debuted on NBC, 7 p.m. on September 20th, 1984. And Art, what show was that?
Oh my God, it has to be the Cosby Show,
The
my
Cosby
friend.
Show.
It has to be the Cosby Show. Anytime a black man know the exact date and time, almost like childbirth, it had to be something that changed your life.
Yeah. Because remember, the prototype was what? Good Times.
Right. Yes.
The dad was killed. They live in Cabrini Green. It was a mom-headed household with 3 kids surviving and scraping, right? So this TV show comes on. The mother is breathtakingly beautiful and a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? The dad is a handsome, strong man who's a doctor. And then the 5 beautiful, precocious kids. I think all of us guys wanted to be, we wanted to be Theo Huxtable. You know what I'm saying? And it said that it gave us permission, or it gave us the roadmap or the blueprint to say, no, life ain't about the inner city living in the projects. It's living in a beautiful house, driving nice cars, going on trips, black art, jazz music in the background, and just living your best life. And I know what it did for me. It let me know I want to be married to somebody beautiful and educated. I want to have a brilliant and beautiful children. I want to live in a beautiful house. I want to live a bigger life than 76 and Essex provided for me, right? And I did it. And everybody I know did the same thing. We followed the roadmap that Bill Cosby laid out for us. But some of us forgot, right, the foundational stuff because we were so concerned about the surface look. And then think about it, Art. Not many of us had good role models and examples of what a loving couple. Art, my mom was not married. right? My grandmother was being beat by my grandfather who had 5 kids outside the marriage. And I remember asking my mom, grandma had 9 brothers. Why didn't any of her brothers protect her from granddaddy? My mother was like, because all 9 of her brothers was doing the same thing your granddaddy was doing. So we've had limited examples. So we're all just trying to figure this thing out, right? And so we got caught up again on the surface that we forgot to do the core work of love. Voila, 30 years ago, you was able to start a chat. And remember, the chat room, the coffee house was booked every Sunday when you was there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I had to end up moving it to bigger venues. And it
Yes,
actually would do Friday nights at places, Saturday night. And I went on a national tour at to a lot of Black women events across the country. So no, it did do amazing things. It really did. And remember, the world would not know who a JL King would be if it would not for me having an event to let women know about men on the down low, and just so happened television producers and people like that were there, and that's how he ended up on the Oprah show. It was me that exposed that to Chicago and the world. So right. So no, I've always been about love and how do you help people. And Khalid, you were talking about your background. I come from a background that's rather interesting as well too. A lot of alcoholism, a lot of drug use. Then and coming up in 4 years, I figured out my father had emotional issues. My father was never somebody that told a joke or ever had anything to say. People just always thought he was a quiet man, but I think his quietness played a huge part in his just overall well-being. My father and I never got along. And so, it's just interesting to me. But you're right. It's our upbringing that has a lot to do with who we are and why we do what we do.
absolutely. And a fun fact or a fact, the majority of men who I'm counseling in private practice and the majority of the men who I work with at the VA hospital all come to me not only on their mental health or substance abuse issues, right? But primarily relationship issues. So, ladies, let me inform you: men do care about our relationships, and we are slowly but surely taking ownership of the parts we played to have these dysfunctional and toxic relationships, and we want to do better. But it's hard when the society tells you to be the player. You know what I'm saying? And people, what one woman may turn you down, there's 19 women who are saying yes. Again, I just said the majority of people I know who are going through divorces are they're already in relationships. And I'm telling people, and I'm saying it loudly and clearly, do not go through a divorce and go immediately into a relationship. It will not turn out well for you. That might be
No, well, Khalid, and I was telling you the other day when we were having a conversation that I also blame social media for a lot of the things that are going on in the world right now, and why people are just like, you know what? I'm up for anything. Let me try this. Let me try that. T.S. Madison, famed transgender actress, activist, all of that. She and her mom recently did a podcast where her mother was talking about being the mother of T.S. Madison and the things that she's witnessed over the years. And even T.S. mother said, listen, my child has always been who she is. You'd be surprised the number of men that walk up to my child and talk to her. And again, we talking about somebody of the transgender world. So people have a lot of options nowadays. People are learning a lot from social media about how things work. And people are like, listen, let me find whatever I feel might make me feel good the fastest, is what I think.
correct. And again, we're starting now to deal with the demons that have prohibited us from having loving and positive relationships. I mean, I have clients and had clients who and they're the men's men, and they
Right.
said that, hey, Khalid, when I was a kid, my uncle molested me, or my mom's best friend molested me as a boy. And so what happens is when children typically are victims of sexual abuse, right? They grow up and have a lifestyle of promiscuity, right? Because they learned early on not to have boundaries with sexual activities, right? So they're out here, you know, and we know what that has done, right? You know,
Right.
and the thing is, what's the cure? What's going to make us do better? Or to have friends making the mistakes in relationships, and they're in their 50s.
Oh,
And,
I know. I
and
know.
I'm saying,
Yes.
you did this in your 20s. I'm going to give you some leeway in your 20s. But at 58 years old, you don't need to be messing with a married person. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're going to get and not get from that. And folks like Khalid, I'm just trying to have some satisfaction right now. I ain't got time to think about tomorrow. And that's real talk. Art, I had a
Khalid, that's such real talk. Listen, I got a little guilty there for a minute. Like, is he talking about me? I was like, Khalid, you ain't supposed to tell my business like that. But okay, all right. I'm sorry, but no, it's the truth. It's the truth. It is.
uh,
It's the honest to God truth. It really is.
and let me share something with you. A good friend of mine called me over a year ago, and he was like, Khalid, I got some bad news. I'm like, what's going on? He said, Khalid, I'm 66 years old, you know? And I'm like, yeah, bro. And he's like, well, I just finalized my divorce. And I'm like, brother, wait a minute. How many years were you married? 42, 43 years, right? And I said, bro, what happened? What happened? He said, Khalid, it just ran its course. But Khalid, I got divorced in January, and I'm happy to say that I'm engaged. And I was like, well, it's February. You got divorced last month? Yes, and I got engaged on Valentine's Day.
Wait a minute, Khalid. Wait, hold on. Let me say this for myself and the audience. God damn. Like,
Yes,
you got to be kidding me.
got you. And so what he said was, he said, Khalid, and I said, brother, why so soon? He said, Khalid, I was with my wife since age 21. Khalid, I don't know what it means to be alone. And I'm not at 66 years old. And that was his truth. And soon as he said it to me, I got it here and I got it here. And I said, well, brother, just do me a favor. As your buddy and as a clinician, have a long engagement. And while you're going through your engagement, go to couples counseling, because I fear that you will do what most people do. You will transfer your dysfunctionality and your toxicity onto your new bride. And that's not fair to her, because you haven't had time to download and detox and heal. So you're going to transfer your mess to her. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, but then Khalid, all right, now I'm gonna play the devil's advocate just a little bit.
okay.
You got some women out here in their 50s, 60s, and 70s that still think they 26, 30, 34, 26. You know, any of them that went in hand. And don't get me wrong, beautiful women have done well for themselves, all of that. But they out here doing high school girl mess when it comes to these relationships. And they don't care. They don't know whether to go young. They don't know whether to go pensions. They don't, you know. So I don't know. So I think people are now dealing with people's toxicity a little bit more. Is that a thing, maybe, or am I wrong?
It is a thing, but you're making me rich.
Oh, okay.
You're
Okay.
making divorce attorneys rich.
Right, right. You just did get back from a fabulous vacation. So yes, I'm with you. Okay. I'm
I
with you.
and
Right.
and I'm gonna take you. When I get openings, I have a wait list. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I'm gonna take you in. But my thing is, I want people to heal, be healthy, and move on. Right?
Right.
And I'm tired of hearing the same scenarios, Art. And now the other parts of that, it's affecting our kids.
Oh,
Art,
absolutely.
every,
Absolutely.
every week. I'm getting calls from my friends. Khalid, please refer your niece, your nephew to a therapist. Why? Because Khalid, my kid is acting out. My kid is an alcoholic. My kid is taking drugs like it's candy. My kid is 29 years old and still not ready to move out because they can't hold a job. And I asked them, why? And they're like, Khalid, I don't know. I said, well, you ready for the real talk? Well, dude, that's why I'm calling you. Because they heard the dysfunction in the house. Remember, you and your wife or you and your husband were the first role models of a relationship of love. And if you got it wrong, now you set a tone with your children. Or you've coddled these kids so bad because, again, we wanted our kids to have the Cosby Show life.
Nothing but the best. Nothing but the best.
Anaya rode to school every day in a Cadillac.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes,
And you
sir.
were on the bus going to school. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now, wait a minute. No, I wasn't. Right. Yes, I was ridden or driven to school. Yes. So, you see what I'm saying? No, Look, you'd have everybody talking about him on the bus. No, no, no.
Yeah, I stand corrected. You know,
Yes.
I was fixing Jeffrey every day. You know,
Look. This bougie been since 1980.
got you, brother. But the thing is, of course, we want the best for our kids, but we forgot to give them the good times, survival mechanisms.
True. Very true. Very, very true. I agree. I agree 100% with you on that one. That's a good point. Let's move on with these other points. Khalid, this is really a master series. This is a TED talk on relationships when you really think about it. Let's go into lack of physical intimacy. And I say it all the time, baby. If you ain't having your bell ring, then you ain't doing a thing. And it's now more than ever that people want to feel, they want to enjoy. I was just recently in one of the chain drugstores, and they now selling roses in the drugstore. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember a time when sex toys were not sold in your local drugstore. I said, well, wait a minute. They're going to be coming to the grocery store next.
Right. Well, Art, with getting older comes medical issues. So you have women in their 40s, 50s, 60s going through menopause, and you have us men dealing with prostate issues, erectile dysfunctions, and or again, you're not as attracted to the person anymore, you know, and or you might be getting your needs met elsewhere. And
like at the Walgreens.
at the Walgreens. And then I don't know if you saw this study or this thing that said guess what the number one industry in America is?
Oh, I can imagine the sex toy industry.
Well,
I can imagine. No.
OnlyFans is the number
Oh,
one.
absolutely. Yes. The founder of OnlyFans really recently passed away.
Correct.
And I did not know this until I started doing some research. But OnlyFans is the number one employer in the United States or in the world. I had no idea about that. So for those of you all that do not know what OnlyFans is, let me explain that really quick and then we'll kind of get back into it because some people are like, wait, what's OnlyFans? Right. OnlyFans is where you're able to go onto this site and do whatever it is that you do that people might want to pay to watch you do what you do or show what you show or talk the way you talk. And OnlyFans has become so popular. And here's the deal. You could have a foot fetish. You can go on there, put your feet on there and do whatever, rub them together, bathe them, whatever. People pay you for that. And so, Khalid, that's enough. I told you, social media is taking us out as well. What else you gonna think about that?
Correct. And so what happens is with all these distractions and issues, we're not being as intimate as we were before. Art, it's always been a known thing that mistresses help keep marriages together.
Correct.
You know
Correct.
Art, I mentor young Black males who are former athletes. So my mentees are in their 20s and 30s, and they're like, Coach, why is Auntie coming at me? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Coach, women who are around your age are hitting on me.
Right.
And coach, to be honest, I ain't turning them down no more.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
Yes.
because women have figured out, well, men been doing it for centuries. Why not us? You know? So the thing is, with these distractions, again, causing us to go outside and look for getting our needs met instead of focusing in what's on the inside, right? And,
Okay.
and it's a rippling effect.
Well, another thing too, polyamorous relationships have become very big.
True.
I've noticed a lot of women now who the woman has two men,
Yeah.
and these are her. Where before, a couple would want to add a third person to the equation, and of course, the husband, oh no, we gonna add your girl or ask your girl what she doing or whatever the case may be, and now they're adding a man to the equation. And
Correct.
so it's two men and a woman. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the world in which we live in now.
And Art, I still remember the first time I really found out about that was at one of your chats at that apartment when you know who, Mr. P, came with his allegedly two wives and was
Yes.
discussing it, right? It was
Yes.
that. And I'm sitting there like, these two young women are beautiful young women
Yes, they were.
subjugate themselves to do this. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think Mr. P understood back then. Meet people where they're at, take them at their deficits, and people will be willing to do anything you want them to do. You know?
Well, now that's kind of funny you would say that, but see, I even talked about this with a couple of my friends. I'm at an age now where I would definitely want to be in a relationship again.
Okay.
I do tend to like younger than myself because I really do want somebody that can keep me active, keep me moving, keep me social. They're able to dress, go do things with me. Most of the people my age that I like or we date or kick it or hang out, they ready to go home by 9 o'clock. They don't want to kick it all the time. Once a week is good for them, whatever the case may be. And my life is not structured like that.
Got it.
I'm the type of person that if I even got with a person that's younger and, me and this person getting along and they meet somebody else and they I'm not opposed to a throuple. I'm not opposed to it because I know I'm an older, more refined dude that I do like to do whatever it is. I don't have to see you all the time, but I want you amused. And it's like buying a puppy, another puppy in my case.
Right.
But, I know how to deal with that. A lot of people don't know how to deal with that.
And that's why I have a job, Art. Again, just because one person is open to it doesn't mean their mate is. Or
Right.
hey, I convince you, but really you don't want to do this, but you're trying to hold on to me.
Right.
And you think, well, man, maybe if I get into it, I'll get into it. But really, no, I don't want this. And then that comes the chaos and confusion, right?
Uh-huh.
I've
Right.
had multiple clients. They came in with three girlfriends, right? And
At the
when
same time.
at the same time,
Now, do the three girlfriends know each other?
no,
Okay. Okay.
the situation. And this person had been with the three girlfriends. One was 28 years, one was about 22 years, and one was 12 years. And I'm like, client, those are significant relationships. And slowly but surely, he got rid of each and every one of them. It took a year, but he ended up breaking up with all three. And it was hard on him because he loved them. And the reason why he loved them, one, because it was mother issues he was dealing with. And number two, right? His thing was one person is the porno star in the bedroom. The other person is I'm dedicated to them because we have a family. And the third person is she makes me feel like how my mom and grandma used to make me feel that I'm caretaking, right? But I had to say, you can find that in one person. No, you can't. No, you can't. And I said, well, yes, you can, but you have to understand the 80-20 rule. 80% of a person is the good part. The 20% is what challenges us. Most people run from that 20% because we end up amplifying the 20% and forgetting about the 80%.
Uh-huh. Makes sense. Makes
You know?
sense. Yes, makes good sense. It does. I mean, I've had people look at me, and then I've had other people say to me, "Oh no, Art, I get what you're saying." I'm like, listen, I need to be socialized. I know I'm at that age now where if you don't socialize me, I'm just like an old basset hound. My ass will lay around, eat Oreos, and watch an old movie. And no, I want to stay young and vibrant and out there and doing things. And that's the reason why. Now, if I meet somebody that's in my age range that, want to travel, do some stuff, all that, I may consider it because it's really not about a sex thing as much as the companionship thing. So, Khalid, before we run out of time, I do want to talk about some tips to help people in their 50s back out here. They could be in a situation like myself that what do we need to understand? Oh, and by the way, everybody, Google is going to allow you to change some of your Google email names if you need to change them. And I'm going to give you guys a perfect example. Do you remember when Google first came out? How old were you, Khalid, when Google probably first came out?
Ooh, as far as I know, I was in my early 30s, I think.
Okay, and so did you ever have some email addresses that was like old sexy daddy 2950 or 69 daddy or something like that at gmail.com? Well, you're now able to go and change those email addresses. You'll still be able to get emails to those addresses, but you'll be able to clean them up, change them around. Somebody sent me a resume one time and the email address was sweet sticky thing 69 at gmail.com. I know y'all getting ready to try, it's been disbanded. And I could not believe that you would send me a resume from an email address that reads like that, and you trying to apply to be an administrative assistant.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Google is giving you that chance, you guys, to change those email addresses that are those type of email addresses if you want to.
Right.
Sweet Sticky Thing 69 is gone, you guys. All right, Khalid, give us some tips on what we need to know.
Okay. Number one, know what you want before you start getting out there and dating. Have your criteria, have your checklist, know what your negotiables are, and more so what your non negotiables are. Okay. And be
Okay.
honest. Set a bar and keep the bar high. Because the minute you lower your bar, you get in trouble. Number two, heal before you date. And I'm going to say that again slowly. Heal before you date because it's not fair for the new person to inherit your mess.
But now, Khalid, wait, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Sure.
You know, people always say to get over somebody, you got to get under somebody. And so, what is healing time? What is that looking like? Everybody nowadays want to have BBLs, knee replacement surgery, all that. And the one thing everybody says to the doctor, how long does it take for all that to heal? What's healing time looking like?
Well, healing time is based on your time, right? Because we all are different. You know what I'm saying? Some people carry the burden of hurt and pain for a long time. Remember, I have people in their 50s and 60s dealing with childhood traumas.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it depends on you and the amount of work you put in to start your healing process, right?
Okay. Okay.
Good.
All right.
Number three, don't compare new people to your past middle-aged dating people. So
Nope. Nope.
we all have a pattern in our dating, right? So for me, I love attractive women who are smart, right? And so that's my criteria, right? And I've even been told the young lady I've been with for 4 years now, she resembles my ex-wife, Lisa. I don't see it, but it's because she has long hair. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, see, people see what they want to, but also, again, we have patterns, right? And it's okay to have patterns, but take the good patterns with you. The bad patterns, leave them alone, right? My ex-wife was a free spirit. I don't want to be with a free spirit woman no more. I like somebody who's structured like me because that works for Khalid. You know what I'm saying? And then I was with a Scorpio. Never, ever ever again will I be with a Scorpio.
Oh, wait, sir. Wait now. Wait. Oh Lord. You gonna come on my show and talk about Scorpios? And you know I am the master Scorpio? I am listen, because you couldn't handle it. You what sign are you again?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh yeah, but see, here's the crazy. Okay, Khalid, that's a whole nother show because actually, Cancers and Scorpios are supposed to be very compatible with each other. So wait, no, just we gonna come. You coming back for a zodiac show? So just please, I'm glad you had that little fit. I'm glad you did. Yeah, I'm glad you offended us Scorpios because we're gonna talk about it. Okay, all right, I understand. Y'all see how he blacked out. Did you see that? A man took some scissors. He got violent on the camera. Lord, he
Absolutely.
got violent. He got violent, y'all. Okay, go right. Doctor with all them lottie dotties, you got violent when it came to
Right, right.
Scorpio.
Hey,
All right, go ahead with your advice, brother. I love it.
focus more on character than chemistry. How does a person treat you? How do they make you feel? Because you're going to have time outside the bedroom. I want to be attracted to our conversation. I want to be attracted on how you walk down the street. I'm going to be attracted to you on how you interact with my family and friends. So it's got to be so much more. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you can get away with just the external. But in this big age that we are in, right, gray people, middle-aged people, you got to bring more to the table. Okay.
I love that. I do. I say it all the time. I'm looking for me somebody that like to do wonderful things, do fabulous things, be seen fabulous places, eat
Yeah.
good food, all that. Yep. And you just can't do that if your taste is fast food. If everything you eat comes from a clown, you are a clown. And so yes, okay, all right, very good. Continue, Khalid. I told you, you got the Lottie Dottie. I got the Farilla Dottie.
Got it. And I love it. And we bring them together.
We bring them together. There you
Right.
go. Okay.
Number 5, be authentic from the beginning.
Yep.
Take the mask off. Take the
Yep.
foundation off. Be who you are because who you are is going to show up. And as
Right.
you get older, it's going to show up quicker, right? When you're younger, you can play the role, you can mask all day. But as you're getting older, it's too much work to do that. Be who you are. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
let the person love the real you.
Yep. Yep.
That's it. Number
Yep. Yep.
6, set clear boundaries. Set clear boundaries. Let them know what I'm going to negotiate and what I'm not going to deal with.
Yep.
Because right then and there, I'm giving you your options.
Yep.
My boundaries might be red flags to you. If they are, exit the stage left.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's the time we be fighting, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
number 7.
Wait, real quick, Khalid, before you go on, I recently put something on my social media pages that said to all my single folks, if you're currently dating someone, do you need to talk to them every day? And you would be surprised, Khalid, how the answers ran the gamut. From nope, not at all, to are you kidding me? No, we need to be talking every day. If we're working on whatever it is, we need to talk every day. Khalid, I have a rule. Really, if you check in on me, we text, we talk, whatever, I'm okay. I only want to date somebody from 6 p.m. on Friday night to 6 a.m. on Monday morning. I know. That's a whole nother show. I
What
know.
about, what about Wednesday night?
No, not unless I invite you to something or we going to something like that. But no, I don't need you. No, I'm
But it,
probably watching Columbo or Murder She Wrote. I'm probably laying in the bed rubbing my feet together, which is my favorite pastime now. So no, I want you to make my weekend phenomenal. Now, if I do have opening night tickets to something or a dinner or something like that, and you want to go and we are a couple, I ain't got no problem with that. But I don't need to see you every night. I don't.
well, I don't know if you heard Cheryl Underwood, the comedian. She was on The View, and she said, "I want to remarry, but I want him to live in his own house." You know what I'm saying? So that I'm starting to hear that a whole lot, Art.
Yes, yes. I am at that. That's why I told you I don't mind if I was in that throuple situation as long as I know both of them are fair, honest, not trying to pull anything, all that kind of stuff. Listen, Boo Bear, if you need to go cuddle and hang out with Boo Boo, go on do that. But on the weekends, let's brunch it and travel and do and you know what I'm saying? And yeah, a lot of people are looking at it like that. No, I don't have to live with whoever it is from this point on. I don't. Check on me, make sure I'm good. We get together, do some things, but I don't have to necessarily live with you. I want space for me now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. All
Okay.
right, go ahead with these points.
Okay. Just a few more, everyone.
Okay.
Don't rush the relationship. Don't rush the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference of dating versus a relationship. When I say don't rush the relationship, court, date, have conversations, get to know the person so that you can learn to like the person. You know what I'm saying? And also simultaneously be in a relationship with yourself. Take yourself out on dates. Learn to be with somebody and learn to love being by yourself and bring it together. Okay. Number 8, be
I
honest.
love it.
Be honest about finances and lifestyle. You know, how you live and then what you can do to play with. Be honest with the person. If you're broke than a joke, let the person know I'm financially strapped. You like going to Paris for your birthday every summer. I don't know if I could pull that off. I got child support payments I got to make. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest. I remember a friend saying she wanted her new boyfriend to take her to the Palmer house for New Year's Eve. And he was like, babe, I can't do that. But I could take you to the what's on 87th Street? The
Family Den, or right, or the Red Pepper Lounge or somewhere. Okay, okay,
And she went and she said, Khalid, I had a great time. But
right,
she's so used to going to the Palmer house.
right.
You know what
Yes,
I'm saying? But she met
yes.
him where he was.
Right, right. Yes, I agree. I agree 100%.
Mhm.
Khalid, do you remember when I did the $25 date challenge
Yes,
where
yes.
I told people back then that they could never spend any more than $25 on the date? And I told the men that they had to be as creative as possible with
Yeah.
creating these dates. And if they needed any ideas from me, I'd be more than happy to share these ideas with them. And so I'm still that person to this very day, Khalid. I'm not a full, all out, drawn out $200-300 dinner person. It does not do anything for me like that. I like early bird specials. I like happy hours. I like late lunches, things like that. And to me, you get more for your money. You
Right.
know.
Right. And Art, listen, I remember taking you up on that challenge. I remember I took my date. We got Italian Fiesta pizza, a couple of 7-Ups, and we drove up to the Baja Temple. And she was like, look at this magnificent place. Never been there before. And it was one of my best dates because it was simple. It was
I tell people, so here's the deal. Like you say, if I don't want to see the person during the week, okay, hey, babe, Tuesday night is discount night at the movies. Art, can me and you? Absolutely. When I get finished with work, what theater we going to? Okay, beautiful. All right, babe, I'll talk to you later. See you Friday.
right. That's right. Okay. Absolutely. Uh, Number 9, use technology wisely.
Yes, yes, please.
Understand that on dating apps, I can be Morris Chestnut, right? Maybe what you need to do is if we decide to talk, let's do a FaceTime so you can see who I am. You know what I'm saying? And no, there's a lot of predators, a lot of manipulators on social media. I had a friend, he was on 5 dating sites. And I was like, brother, why are you on 5 dating sites? He said, Khalid, I have a 12-year-old. I don't want no woman knocking on my door at midnight. Where you at? Where you at? So I date women who live in other states and they pay me to come and see them.
All right now.
See?
All right.
So,
Gigolos get lonely too.
but so it's a
Ha.
playground. It's a playground for predators. You know,
Right, right.
gotta
Yep.
be careful.
Right.
Got to be
Yep.
careful.
Yep.
Number 10, protect your safety. Meet in public places. Meet each other there. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people they're saying on these dating sites, the ones that's for hookups, you giving your address so people could come to your house, and they're coming to the house where their boys in the back of the car, and they're barging in, robbing you. Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? But again, you're trying to get a need met that night, right? At midnight. Well, there's a cost to that, possibly, but you got to be careful. Use it wisely. Okay. Stay open minded. The person who is right for you may not look exactly what you imagine. So I know some women have a criteria. Art, me and you both are over 6 foot, but some women they like, I want a 6 foot man. Well, maybe the 5'7" dude will treat you right. You know what I'm saying? And I know we all have a criteria, but be able to negotiate to get your needs met. You know?
I couldn't agree with you more, brother. That's great advice as well, too.
And then the last one, number 12, remember that love is still possible. Many people find deeper, healthier, and more meaningful love in the Middle Ages because you have grown, you've experienced life, and you know better. And
I love it.
That's it.
I do. Khalid, absolutely amazing, just wonderful. You, brother, I am just elated to see how your life and career has unfolded. Yes, you were that young rebel back then. Yes, you had a million questions. Yes, you wanted to know. And really, I told you, you were the catalyst of just the conversation keep getting deeper. Look, you all, I would call Khalid like, brother, look, you ain't got to worry about paying to get in. What time you'll be there. Khalid don't smoke, y'all. He don't drink. So I'm like, do I need to bring some corn liquor, some whatever? He don't do none of that. He just wanted a front row seat, and he wanted to be treated like the man that he was, and he was about business back then. I am so proud of his beautiful daughter. His ex-wife and I are still very cool with each other. They're a beautiful nucleus of a black family. Khalid, you almost remind me of what I said about the white college roommate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, how he went on and found his person, and now they all vacation together and kumbaya and loving each other and no issues, no problems, you know. And that's the way I think it should be, especially after you've had history with somebody. And we'll have to talk about that one night too, or one day, you know?
Absolutely. And Art, this is the family that you helped create.
I know, that's so beautiful, you all. I do. I love that family. I really do. Khalid, how can people find you, follow you? What do you want to say in closing as well, too?
Right. I want to say, please, again, have the best love affair with yourself first and foremost. Learn to love you with an agape love, meaning that holistic love. Because once you set a standard for you, you won't lower your bar for anything and anyone. And then number 2, give people grace and mercy that you want them to give you. We all are trying to figure this thing called life out, especially in these days, right? And then how you can find me, I'm on all social media platforms under my name, Khalid Scott. And again, you can look me up on psychologytoday.com under my name. If you're looking, to come into therapy, which I suggest everybody participate in, and again, have faith that things are going to be better because you're willing to put the work to make them better.
I love it, brother. I really do. Khalid, I cannot say thank you enough. You are a phenomenon because, here's the deal. If we don't tell the truth and tell it like it is straight to people's faces, they'll never get it. They'll never get it because, again, I told you 30 years ago, nothing has changed about Art Sims. You know what I'm saying? The Chat Daddy has been saying this for 30 plus years. And when we really look at it now more than ever, people are suffering worse in relationships than they were then. And then here's the deal, Khalid. I know people who were single back then that still have not had any type of tangible relationship. And we're going to have to talk about that somewhere down the road.
Absolutely. I'm here for it.
Imagine you've been single 30, 40 plus years. Yes. No intimacy, no romance, nobody sweet nothings,
Absolutely. But your trauma and pain led you there. And you like, wait a minute, I'm on guard. And that's not the way to live. That is not the way to live. We all deserve to be loved.
We do. We do. And in closing, I just want to say, everybody, thank you so very much for tuning in to this very special edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, the Love Edition. We're talking about gray dating. We're talking about dating after a certain age. We're talking about just a lot of things that are really affecting people now more than ever. And we just need to talk about it. For more information about yours truly, you can go to therealchatdaddy.com. Art Chat Daddy Sims is the Facebook page. The Real Chat Daddy Show is the Facebook page. You can find us a million different places whenever you're ready to find me. I am there. This is our banner right there. Love hurts. We want to make sure nobody is hurting, that everybody is living beautiful lives and doing the right thing. This is how you can follow me as well. Please subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show on YouTube, and here are my other ways of following me right there. I really do appreciate you guys so much. Khalid, it's all about love, happiness, and good energy. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Look, I got about 12 other shows to do with you at this point.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Listen, where's Oprah and Tyler Perry? You know what I'm saying? Right. The two of us is a sitcom in itself.
There you go, Art. That's
Love you, my brother. Love you. God bless you. Thank you, guys, and have a great one.